Hey, good evening. Welcome to another morning space with me, Kalu Aja. Of course, on this space, we're talking the economy, we're talking finance, penal finance, and of course, we're talking about investing. And what a great investment topic we have today, education. If you don't know, education is the only investment that you can make that you are guaranteed a return. In some cases, more than 100%. If you're not educated and you get educated across the world, your incomes will increase, your worldview will improve, and your future earnings power essentially goes up. So for education, you don't play with it. Like it's really going to be something that you can do and you can improve your skill at any level. So this is a great topic for us to have today, just to talk around education, how we can fund it, local fund education, and we've got great guests here today, QS, that's going to help us navigate this topic, right? So we're going to wait. QS is a co-host. It's going to add the folks that are going to talk to us today. I'm going to try to do this as well. And then we're just going to start, right? And see how this would play into even the tax conversations Nigerians are having. Nigerians are waking up in 2027 or 2026 and understanding that they've got to start to pay taxes, right? There's going to be lots of taxes that are going to be paid on incomes that are going to be earned. There are also lots of deductions that are going to be available to Nigerian families. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, if you want to go abroad to study, which is very legitimate, how can you structure your balance sheet, your incomes, and also your tax setup so you can still afford to go and see if there's any benefits that you can get? Who can partner with you in this regard, essentially, that allow you to then, get this done? That's essentially what we want to do. So, Kios, I'm going to rely on you to add your folks, QS, right, as speakers. Fantastic. And then we'll just sort of get the topic going. But I just want to just lay out, as it were, a bit of financial planning around education for those that are listening. So if you've been a regular guest on our show, we've been talking around how you can use the structures Nigeria has present to plan out your future, right? How can you write out your assets, your liabilities, your income and expenses in such a manner that you can specify a target investment or a target savings sum? I have advocated using your retirement savings account, even your insurance amount that you have in your insurance or that you're paying for insurance, as a way to do target savings. So what is target savings? You have a daughter, you have children, you have wards, you want them to go to Harvard in say 15 years. How can you save today that in 15 years you've got those funds available to fund that interaction? That's what we're talking about today. A good way you can do that in Nigeria today is not to write a will, which can be challenged and all that kind of stuff. It's to try to write a trust agreement, right? So you go to a lawyer, you draw up a trust, and you say, I am the grantor of this trust, which means I'm the maker, I'm the one making the trust. This trust means that my assets are no longer owned by myself, they're now owned by the trust. I'll be a trustee. I would enjoy the proceeds of this trust as I'm alive. Should I pass away, I want the total funds in my trust to go towards the education of my kids. You write that in there, and it's also testamentary, which means even if you're not there, they have to follow what's in the trust. To go to the education of my kids, when my kids are educated, give them a salary, and there's any money left over, take that money and give to my favorite charity. You can give it to Chelsea or Arsenal Football Club, but you're writing something that you're not there and will be obeyed. You're going to have trustees. This can be individual trustees like your friend, but I prefer corporate trustees because corporates, you don't know them in quotes, but they're going to carry out your authority even when you're not there. So you then look for an asset that you're going to put in that trust, and that asset is going to fund your education of those kids. So if I have 2 or 3 kids, for instance, right, I could say, hey, I'm going to do a trust. These kids are going to be taken care of in the trust. If I pass away, my assets go to my trust, and my trust pays for the education of these kids. You can even put a life insurance policy. You can buy a life insurance policy, and you can make your trust the beneficiary of your life policy, not you, the trust. Anything happens to you, the insurance company pays the trust. The trust then uses your life policy to then educate your kids. It's a very simple way of doing this. Why a trust? Because it's not going to go through probate. It's no longer your money, so it's not going to go through probate. It's already identified the beneficiaries, right? It's easier to do. It's less. You can't easily go and challenge a trust in court. So you can't have your neighbor, your brothers, your sister come to say, "Oh, I want to challenge this will," because it's a trust, right? It's a legal document set up. You were alive when you didn't know that. Very, very simple, easy way for you to manage that transition process. So look at the tax laws that have been passed now, right? What can we use to accomplish this trust? If you look at the tax laws, they are saying that if you contribute money to your retirement savings account, that retirement savings account is any contributions you make are tax exempt. So now let's bring it back to today. I want to send my daughter to Harvard in 15 years. She was just born today. What do? I go to a finance guy. The finance guy tells me, listen, to send your daughter to Harvard in 15 years, it's going to cost you 20 million naira every year or today, whatever number he gives me. So what do? I go to my RSA, my PFA company, and I open up a retirement savings account. And I make additional voluntary contributions to that account. When I make those contributions, they are in the account. I can take them out after 5 years, tax-free, 5 years. But if anything happens to me, the retirement savings account is going to be paid to my trust. So my trust is my beneficiary. They pay to my trust, and my trust then educates my kid in university. Simple. So use your RSA to accumulate funds, and the funds go to your trust. If you're alive, that's fine. You take the money and you educate your daughter. But if you're not alive, the trust does that. So this is where we want to just introduce this whole topic of education as a long-term asset. We've got to look at the only asset that is guaranteed a return. So fantastic. We've got the QS folks in here, right? So we're going to add. Who's going to start? With? I've got Mrs. P. She's going to start and just sort of walk us through what is QS and what you guys do. And yeah, Ms. P, how you doing? You want to introduce yourself? Hello? Oh, she's just dropped off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add you right back. So essentially, we've got QS guys here, and I hope that let me just make sure I have them all set up here so they can get back in. She just dropped off now as I call her. Gonna make sure they're all set up. Co-host, yep, there we go. Yep, so I'm adding you. Fantastic. So I'm already seeing questions about what I just talked about, the RSA and the trusts and the education. I'll go back to that. But I just wanted to get, Miss P is back. I was just going to allow QS to introduce themselves, why they are here, and why it's important for us, right? So, Miss P, I have you here. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Pauline Odoje, a psychologist, counselor, passionate humanitarian writer, food enthusiast. I like that. Love to sing. Go ahead, ma'am. What's on you?
Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me and thanks for having my colleagues as well. So I'm Pauline, as you've rightly said. So please pardon me. This profile is a bit old. I haven't been on X in a very long minute, so I'm even surprised to hear about myself. But I'm currently an enrollment manager at QS. Apply. So I'm a counselor, basically, in everything that relates to international student recruitment at QS Student Apply. So that's basically who I am. And again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to ask you, what is QS? Okay, that question.
Okay, so QS is actually short for Kokore Simons. Good luck trying to pronounce everything in full. Yeah, we started off as a company that does world gigs. If ever to check like how universities are ranked globally, QS would most likely come up. So you will see it as QS World Rankings. Now, because of the relationship that we've built with institutions globally, we've gone from not just providing them with data, we've now transitioned or evolved to include student recruitment. So universities trust to manage to match them to prospective students and match prospective students to institutions that will fit them. So that's what we do essentially. We manage the end-to-end process of studying abroad, from the process of application to the process of following up on your application chases, up until visa application, things like that. So all of that, that's what we do, and our services are absolutely free, if I may add. So yeah.
How come they're free? Like this looks like a lot. Looks like very specialized service that you guys do. How come it's free?
Okay, so they're free firstly because universities understand that trust is something that's important here. So if we're able to counsel students and they see that this process is completely taking off, they don't have to worry about financial commitments with regard. People are falling into a lot of wrong hands. Mm-hmm. So it's like, this is our trusted partner. You go to them, they assist you, and then we have a partnership that will cover for those services. Mm. So the benefit for us is that you make it to school. Mm. Yes, so that's why it's our services that are free. It doesn't mean that the student is not paying tuition and all of that, but at least the process of starting to getting your visa, QS would, give you their expert guidance at no charge. So that's what we do. Yeah.
And I'm sharing the PowerPoint presentation for QS. Just about 71 universities ranking referred to QS. 30 years experience in doing this. London-based education. 55 million people visit QS platforms every year. Rely on your data. This is very, very impressive. Good job, guys. So, if I was going to go to school in the UK, what would I do? How does QS help me? I would go to QS and I get the ranking. I'll go to my university and then get that ranking, but it's referring to QS. How does that relationship play?
Okay, so sometimes you might have an idea of where you want to study, mm-hmm. and what it would entail, and sometimes you might be completely clueless, mm-hmm. and just come to me and say, I want to study in the UK, but I don't know what I need to do. So the first thing I would do is at least go to my counselor on time, go to the organization on time and say, and when I say time, up until a year ahead. So you can do from like a year ahead to anything. I wouldn't recommend anything less than 6 months. Mm-hmm. Yes. So for example, if I wanted to study in the UK, say in September, I would start having that conversation now, because there are lots of finances involved. So first of all, your counselor would help you to know, what do you want to study? How fit are you for the course that you want to study? They will help you to understand the financial implications. If you cannot advise you on what the next intake that you can meet up for, at least you would have an idea of what the plan needs to be, and then it will help you to go back to your drawing board and know how feasible it is for you. So your counselor will help you with finances. They will help you look through your documents. If you're maybe like a HND holder or you have a third class, they will help you to narrow down your alternatives, things like that. So that is what the QS team will do for you. And then with each stage, they will keep advising you. They'll say, okay, now it's time to accept your offer. Mm-hmm. Now it's time to deposit. Now it's time to ensure your proof of funds is counting ahead of your visa application. All those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Let's get into. I know you are. Sorry about that. I mean, you guys have the team that's supposed to be here. We're just trying to add the other folks in. So apologies if I'm just loading all the questions on you. But just let's talk around the whole process of planning out this education. I've tried to lay out on my own end, using the tax laws that have been passed, using your RSA. How would you lay out a financial plan for a Nigerian family? We're 25 years old, we just got married, we want our child to go to university abroad in 20 years. Is that a long-term plan? How would you advise that a family in Nigeria plans out this educational spend?
Okay, first things first. 20 years is a good time. a lot of good time.
Yeah.
But the first thing I would advise, I mean, looking at everything we've been through as a country in the past few years, I would say save in foreign currency. You know, well, I don't know if that sounds patriotical, but
it makes sense because I always tell people on the street, you save in the currency that you are spending in, right? So if you're going to send your kids to school in the UK, you want to save in pounds or euros, right? Because that's just to remove that exchange rate risk. And again, let's come back to this new tax law that has been passed. If you take naira and you invest in a foreign-owned outlet, maybe a rental or a bond or a stock, the law is saying that if the currency dividends come back to Nigeria in foreign currency, you don't pay tax. But in this instance, I'm not sure if we're going to bring the currency back. But if it comes back to Nigeria, you're not going to pay tax. But in this instance, you're saying save in the currency of the school you are going to. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, saving that currency is also a way to combat inflation. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm your go-to financial expert, but I'm speaking based on the experience. So, for example, as of June 2023, imagine 1 week, somebody wakes up and naira to a pound is about 600, and as a student, you feel like, oh, I have all my money in check. My proof of funds is counting for my visa. And then the following day, by June 12, when does handover happen? You know, by that week, by the following week, exchange rate skyrockets to, should I say, £2,000 now? I don't know how quickly it went, but everything that people thought they had was devalued overnight just by one policy or by one situation. So I'm just saying, if you know that you want to study abroad, like this is what you have planned for your child, then you really should save in that currency to combat inflation. And, you know, I mean, something that brings you interest as well. There are lots of things you can invest in now that, you know, with little returns over time, it builds up. You know, it builds up for, whether it's for accommodation, whether it's for their living expenses, travel, all those kind of things. So 20 years is very good time. That's just what I'm trying to say. But I would say the number one thing, the fundamental thing would be to save at least in that currency just to combat inflation. Yes.
Long-term savings in that currency that I want to go to. So that's number one. How else will I do? What else do you advise? What's also? Just go ahead.
So again, having information to knowing. So the truth is, in 20 years, a lot of things are going to change. In this industry, things change every intake. So, for example, now, I don't expect you to know because you're not in the industry, but we've had a very rough January where visas in the UK are taking longer than they normally would. So anything can happen between now and 20 years. But at least if your finances are in check, that's one thing less to worry about. So have money. That's just what it is, and have a lot of it.
Yeah, and I mean, the laws of investing say that if you don't have money today and you start to save, you're making it better for yourself. And again, if you were in the abroad, they have lots of dedicated accounts like a 529 where you can put money aside and that money is invested for you tax-free for education, specifically for education. Nigeria, we don't have it. So the one investment, like I go back to this retirement savings account, that's the one investment I think that you can use and pay back as an educational account. Because any money you put in there, if you're going to do Naira, it's tax exempt, right? And if you're going to do abroad, like you've recommended, go abroad, look for a foreign mutual fund or a foreign income-based fund that's going to pay you dividends. Put your money in there, let it grow as the child is growing, so that the process of compounding allows that money to grow, so that when the child is older, it's much easier for him. I completely agree.
Absolutely.
So you're talking again about the so we've got Michelle here as well. Ooh, Michelle. Yeah. So I was gonna does Michelle having to add on to this line, or do you want to continue?
Michelle's just joining. I think we might need to refresh the question for her.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
I'm
How you
sorry,
doing?
I'm joining so late.
That is
I'm
fine.
very well, thank you.
Yeah,
So
Michelle,
sorry.
we've been talking about what QS is. We've talked about what QS does. We're now talking about how to plan out. I want to send my kids abroad in, say, 20 years or 10 years, long term plan. What is the process? Was just explain to us that listen, the first thing you want to do is you have to have a long term savings mindset. Take the money aside, I have to put it aside for the earnings, to earn a dividend that would then pay for education. So, is there anything you want to add to how I can plan in Nigeria to educate my kids abroad or Nigeria and it's going to be in foreign currency? What are the best practices that we can adopt?
Okay, thank you very much, and I apologize again for joining really late. On the topic of planning ahead, I think what Pauline must have said actually goes in line, but just to add a little, in Nigeria, yes, we do have the culture, or I believe this space is for Nigeria, right? It's
Yes.
not for
Correct.
West Africa.
Correct.
I believe in Nigeria we don't have that culture where parents tend to stack out funds for specifically for education, and just a few people are quite informed that that actually happens in Nigeria, but it's not enforced, and people feel like when they keep out funds, maybe through insurance accounts and all that, it's really a waste. But it's actually the best way to go about it, because in the Western world, that's what people do. You stack out little amount monthly, you just put it in there and forget about it. It looks like you've forgotten about it, but over time it accrues interest that would stand out when it's time for the child to go to college and study anywhere, and then the interest rates keep going up for you. I think there are certain things like that in Nigeria for some specific insurance companies. I think while I was back in Nigeria, I had that educational savings. I think it's a trust fund, something that I was doing, and the money grew. But yeah, so but it's just that a lot of us are not informed. But that's actually the best way to go about it. We have the culture of, oh, I want to go to school, and it's when you want to go to school that you start looking for money. But usually, if you've saved out something, it just goes a long way. So long-term saving plan, it's really good for if the parents have plans to send their kids abroad. Even if the money is there and enough at the time, it's still good to have that culture. I mean, we never know what happens tomorrow and how far that money can go. So that's the much I can add on that.
Okay, so let's come. Do you have any other points again? We talked about being in Forex. What else? Can QS help us there? Or what are the next steps now?
To be fair, I think we've covered in terms of finances. So we've said saving in foreign currency. We've said investing in a fund that will grow over time. And like I mentioned, 20 years is a long time. So if you have your plans and you're consistent with 20 years, I think that you're on the right track.
Okay. How do other nations, like how do the Canadians do this? How do the UK? Is there any best practice that they do there that we can copy here? In terms of
I think I can comment on that one. So here in Canada, they do what they call it's RESP, more like Reserve Educational Funds, savings for studies. We say here they are of advantage, or in Canada they are of advantage because the government also pays the children. So most parents, it's easy for them to save because as soon as the money comes to children's accounts, some of them tend to use it or remove some and save it. Then over time, the interest grows, and when the kid is ready to go for college, it's just easy. So it's a normal practice here in Canada for parents who are wise enough to save for their kids, sometimes over 10 years, 15 years, and the money is enough to cover for the entire duration of the child's study, 3 years or 4 years. So if the Nigerian system probably adopts the same kind of thing, maybe not necessarily paying the underage or the children as they will do in Canada. But if the parents can also, personally, because it's not the government that mandates parents to save. There is an option for that. It's optional. Some parents don't save that money when it comes. They use it for their daily stuff. But some parents take out funds from there. So I'll feel that if we wait for the government in Nigeria, this may never happen. Well, I'll just say that parents should just have the culture of taking out something from what they earn or profit make from their businesses or something and just take it out besides the school fee they pay and take it out to see this is for future, my child's future education. It will go a long way. We're still talking about the saving culture where you know that's something that is accruing interest for you, not like saving in the bank. Interest is almost useless sometimes, but I feel like there's so many options that people can tend to invest in on a long-term basis to help them. I mean, if we can't wait for the government to do anything for them, these things like ourselves.
Yeah, does it matter where to go to? If I'm going to go to Canada, does the way I save, I'm going to go to the UK, South Africa, does it matter? I mean, it's countries that allow you to work as a student, allow you to work. Will this change how long-term savings?
It will change much, but just as you said, that if somebody is going to a different destination, what works for them may be different from other destinations. But it was still going back to whatever it is a child, when you're special enough to help you pay, probably going for as we discovered, and the destination a child goes to study allows them to work hours per week. That can only go for daily expenses, nothing close to paying tuition. So if tuition is out of the way, then that can be a relief for you. That's working few hours, because I think for most countries, if a child is going for undergraduate, you're only at work around 20 hours per week and 20 hours per month, right? Pauline, is it per week or per month?
Per week.
Per week.
So that breaks it down to maybe 3 hours in a week or 3 hours in a day. So it's usually not enough to go anywhere.
Are there common mistakes? I mean, like, this is a wide topic because I don't know when my child is going to go to school in 18 years. But what shouldn't I do? I know what I'm hearing you guys say: plan ahead, plan long term, invest monies in foreign currency, think about that compounded returns. What shouldn't I do? What are the things I should not do?
Things you shouldn't do as at now?
Give me like a common mistake you think people are making that are in Nigeria and won't send their kids abroad. What mistakes do you think they are making that if they know now, they should not do?
Still going back on saving ahead of time. Most times we feel that we have enough money and in the next 10 years our wealth will still be on the same level or it will have grown. But sometimes life happens and when you're ready to send your child abroad, there's no money and you start looking for where to borrow from. But when you have these savings ahead of time, nothing shakes you. Even if you drop, even if the inflation in your country drops or anything happens, the fact that you already have this saving, it's not like a bullet, it's a covering for you. So we still stand on that, having a long-term saving culture, an account that you probably don't have an ATM or something. You just keep the money there. Here we don't go to the bank to drop the funds. It just goes out of our account monthly. Whatever it is you're doing, it's easier for you to save when you don't put it in a culture where you have to go put in the money, but maybe set your account in such a way that as soon as the time of the month or the day of the month gets in, the deduction just goes from the account. It makes it easy for you. Sometimes seeing those deductions actually is very discomforting, but when you know that you're planning for a long-term commitment, I feel like it goes a long way.
Yeah, so guys, if you're watching again, just to reset, we're talking about education as an investment, return on investments and all that. I have shared on Twitter, and also you guys on YouTube can see lots of visuals we have from QS. There's a barcode, a QR code I put there, I shared on Twitter as well. You can just scan that barcode. It has a list of their partner institutions, about 422 here, from schools in Australia to Cyprus to France to Singapore to Switzerland and to Uzbekistan. The biggest I see here is the United States, about 100, no, UK 111, 114, US 104. So I know like you were talking about earlier, the US has certain investments. They do grants, they do 529s, and 529s are like a way to save. All US states have it. Some allow you to buy tuition ahead of time. So you can buy the tuition in 20 years today. Some will allow you to save tax free and you can move that money from one child to the other child and all that. So we didn't really have that in Nigeria. Maybe we missed that with the new tax reform. We should have put something there that would encourage families to save specifically towards education. But again, my question is again, when families are planning for destinations now, what factors also should they focus on? Is it just the savings or all these countries here? If I don't know anything about Czech Republic, why should I look at Czech Republic? Are there hints you can give me? Do I have to have a family structure in Czech Republic? Do I look at the earnings for Czech graduates when they leave school? What is my thinking if I don't want to go to the UK and the US, which I think everyone wants to go to? How do I approach this?
Okay, I think I can speak a little bit on this. The truth is, when people choose to study abroad and relocate with their families, we have a vision, right? INF in the past left once Brexit happened because they wanted to remain in the EU. So it's a strong organization, strong body that governs Europe, and usually if you are in one part of the EU, it's easier to transition into another part of the EU, right? And let's think about strong passports, all those kind of things, countries without borders, basically. So for some people, they just want that.
I see.
They want that access. Yes, access, that's the word I would use. So sometimes things like lower cost, because the UK is expensive, but the truth about it is when you look to study abroad, you have to think about every country has pros and cons. So for us in Nigeria that have English as an official language, we don't have to worry about learning a new language with alphabets that we're not sure of. It's a lot of work, and not everyone really wants to do that. Some people just want to go to a place that's English speaking because relocating in itself is not easy. So having to worry less about one thing, is something that people look forward to. So that's why the UK always comes up. But if you're relocating with your family, if you're going to study abroad by yourself, it's already expensive. If you're going with dependents, you will be expected to show even more money per dependent. So first of all, you need to be able to prove that you can afford to take care of yourself for a couple of months. So for example, Ireland would require you to have money. So if you're going for a master's program, they will require you to have money for a whole year. So your tuition, your living expenses, and that money needs to be in your account for, say, about 6 months. So are you able to leave that amount of money untouched for at least 6 months? And then factor in another 2 months for for getting your visa decision, because visa decision 6 to 8 weeks. So that's almost 8 to 9 months of just waiting. With the money untouched. Can you afford it? Then if you're going with dependents, so for Ireland, I need to put it out there, Ireland does not allow dependents if you're going for a PhD. So other countries might allow you go with your dependents, but some countries will say go first, then after you settle for a bit, then they can allow you to apply for your dependents. So these are the things that your counselor, when you reach out to QS, will talk to you about.
I see.
So these are things that will be factored into conversation. By the time people have these conversations with their counselors, they'll realize that, they are not really able to do that. So for example, a country like New Zealand will say you have to pay all your tuition upfront before you even come. We don't want part payments. So looking at 40,000 New Zealand dollars, can you pay it upfront? Do you understand? So these are the concerns. The UK will allow a part payment, and they are also very fair in how long the money needs to be in your account, which is just 28 days. And that's why it's a cost destination. So yes, it's expensive, but they make up for it in decisions.
Yeah, so it sounds like you just need nation really, because everything sort of talk about family now. I want to bring my family in. I have to now factor what will my wife do, what will I do if I'm just single? Can I speak English? If I get that passport or I'm in the country, can I move across borders? Can I take up opportunities? Lots more questions just start to flow in my head now. It's not just going to school. It's a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah, just more the stakeholders is a lot more there. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Just to add to, if I get the question correctly, what parents should mostly consider besides just tuition, because in many cases, families plan for school fees only and get shocked later. There are things to consider like accommodation, feeding, transport, insurance, maybe books, winter clothing, depending on the destination, and visa travel costs.
Yeah.
Then another thing is work rights. There are different work rights for different destinations. So parents or people should consider how many hours is my child allowed to work per week, and have it in mind that your studies first before the work, because most people are always interested in countries that allows them work full-time whilst you want to study full-time. So those are other key things as well to look at. How many hours per week? Can they work during the holidays? Will this affect the amount of money I'm supposed to give them for pocket money? What ability do they have to support themselves whilst they are working in these hours they are permitted to work? Another thing to also look at is post-study work opportunities when people want to study. And that's why a lot of people like to go back, or UK back then when they used to allow the opportunities for... Just give me a second. My background is very nice.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I think I can add to that. You know how she talked about like working 20 hours a week, right? A lot of times people ask me, can I work? 20 hours is not a long time to work. The truth is, the average work hour or work day is about 8 hours. So you're likely to not even find a job that will allow you to work 10 hours on the spot. So you might end up realistically just working 16 hours a week for most countries, which is maybe like a Saturday and Sunday or 2 other days in the week.
Yeah.
Let me use your example. If you're and a module, so a module is what we call in Nigeria in course units. A module is 20 credits. Ideally, you are expected to study around 100 hours for each course unit. As in, you're expected to do like the time put into personal reading, assignments, all of that. You're expected to spend at least 200 hours. So imagine you're doing 6 course units per semester. Or 3 course units. So do the multiplication.
Yeah. There's no
Think
time.
about how many hours, yes. And then you might not even have the 20 hours to work.
So
Realistically.
what I'm hearing you saying that in some jurisdictions, OT should not be an option. Yeah.
Yes, so you have money. Like you might get to the path to prioritize your studies. Because that's what you're there for primarily.
To get that paper.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want a situation where you jeopardize your future, because in places like you not pass your studies, like you do not pass what you went there for in the first place, you already jeopardize the chance of getting a postgraduate based on your performance. Yeah, so you really want to ensure that what you've gone there for, you're able to achieve it. And the money you're making from the 20 hours a week really might not be enough because an average job in the UK is, I think, about 40 hours a week, 40 to 60 hours.
About 40
So,
hours, yeah.
yes, 40 to 60 hours. So I also want to correct the impression that you're not going to be able to work at during holidays when your institution's on holiday, it's full time. But because of holidays, you're going to be mostly on term time till you graduate. And then you can now start working full time. But we're just saying that as your counselors, we would rather you go prepared.
Yeah.
Than limit any surprises.
So just for both of you, is this a good segue to now ask, are there cheaper alternatives that maybe Africans are overlooking? Is there somewhere that we can go to that we can get more bang for our Naira that no one is talking about? Everyone wants to go to the UK and the US from the chat I'm seeing here. But are there places you think that if I have 5 million Naira, I can get the same quality education, same access? From your experience, is there any place like that or niche places like that?
Let me be very frank and very fair. With the way our Naira is right now, 5 million is not a lot when you convert it to dollars. And then every country has, again, their pros and cons, I have said. Mm-hmm. Some countries are cheaper, but the price is getting longer. Right. So, for example, Poland, the same visa, it can be a bit long. Germany has long wait dates. So what you think you're saving in money, you're spending in terms of like 50-50. Your chance might be 50-50 in that location. Mm-hmm. For the UK, the chance is a bit higher. Canada not as high as the UK, but at least higher than some destinations in Europe. It can go either ways. UAE is another option where that's coming up quite a lot. A lot of universities are opening up branch campuses in the UAE. Mm-hmm. So some UK universities are moving there. Some Australian universities are also moving campuses there because it's easier for students to get into. And it's not as expensive as the main campuses like in Australia. The policies are not as stringent, if I do say so. The only thing is, post-study might look different in UAE than in Australia or in UK. So at the end of the day, you now have to just see, okay, can I start off in one destination and maybe transition to another destination? Do you understand? Sometimes
it's possible to do it. I can go UAE and go to Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. So some people go to UAE. If you're trying to build a career, it's good. And the tuition will not be as expensive as Australia.
I see.
And then, with time, you can, build up financially. Obviously, the rates in terms of like currency would be better than Naira currently. Gotcha. And then transition to Australia in the long term, or even another part. I mean, the time it will take you to gather your Naira, you would have gathered, in their own currency, and it would probably be faster for you. So these are just options. Again, moving abroad is a huge step, right? It can be discomforting. It's a huge sacrifice for a lot of people. So don't expect that everything will be smooth sail. But at least with good and expert guidance, you would at least you will not walk through it alone. And that's where QS comes in.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Fantastic. Yeah. So if I'm a student or a parent listening to this space, guys, we're gonna let you guys ask questions now. Listen to the space. What should I do right now? How can I start planning properly? I didn't know QS was here. What do I start to do from tomorrow if I have this plan?
From tomorrow, reach out to us. Mm-hmm. Send us a message. Tell us where you are, what you're interested in. Let us talk to you. And then you can take that back to your drawing board and see, what works best for you. So I think that's the first thing. Have a conversation with us, and then let us take it up with you from there.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to share also the contact information with you guys. I've shared the QR code in case folks want to talk to you. They can just reach out to you most easily. I'm going to add a few speakers here. I'm sure they have most of the questions. I'm just more of the host. So we've got Progress coming up. We've also got Tubo Carol, if I could say that right. Tubo, I get it right? Always curious. Tubo Query. Is that, did I say that properly? Tubo K. Yeah, Tubo K. Tubo K, you're first, and I got Progress. Tubo K, please unmute and go ahead. Alright, let's get Progress. Progress, do you want to hop in? Billionaire analyst, I like that. First to predict Elon Musk would be a trillionaire. Interesting. Progress, you want to go ahead? Y'all don't speak at once. I'm not hearing you guys speak. Mr. Tubo, you got to unmute. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on. So, just to come back to what they should do next, you said get in contact with you. Again, I'm going to share the link to contact QS Africa if you want to speak to them. I already shared the QR code. You can click that QR code. You can just open up to talk a lot about them. On YouTube, I'm sharing all their slides so you can see exactly what they do, all the universities they work with, their rankings and all that. Lots of rich information there. Let me see. Progress and Tubo, you guys are muted. You want to unmute and you want to speak? Okay, I have a question for you on DM. I don't know who can take this one. Also, hello. I got an admission to go to the UK, but I wasn't able to get funding, and I wasn't able to take the opportunity last year. What do you advise I do this year? Do I write to the same university and explain I didn't have funding, or do I just start the process all over? Will this affect me if I try to apply because I did not take up in a previous admission? I don't know what way she applied to, but what would your advice be, Michelle? And what should she apply to the same institution, same nation? Will it count against you if you offer admission but you didn't take it up?
Okay, so surely it wouldn't count against you. Things happen, and universities understand. We need to see if, one, this is an admission that can be deferred. If it can't be deferred, we'll just reapply again if you reach out to us. Shouldn't be a problem. And if you're in a better financial state and think that you can work differently this time, we're more than happy to help you. You just reach out to me with the number and we would respond.
Correct. This is a good question. Do you know of any investment where I can put Naira in and I can secure, I can pay for education tuition outside Nigeria? Just saying from your experience, do you know of any recommendations you can make for an investment where I can put Naira in and I can pay for foreign education? Something like PiggyVest. Do you have anything like that from your own experience, both ladies?
Okay, so I do know that we're doing adverts. So
I think people are asking, like, they want to know, like, they heard you mention, like, they want to know where so they can go look. Like, from your experience, is there, you can mention it, that's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
I'll just put the caveat for you. Do your own due diligence. They are not making recommendations. They are basically saying this is what they've heard. So it's left for you to do your due diligence and make sure that whatever they're saying is in line with your risk objectives, right? So yeah, if you have anything.
Yes, absolutely. So I know people have talked about Bamboo and the multiple platforms on Bamboo. And then personally, I use Rise. It's something that has worked for me. Again, do your due diligence, but I've been consistent for about a year now, so I've been seeing my money grow, so that's good. And the company is very proactive, so I think I like that because it gives me peace of mind because, it's money we're talking about. So, yes, I don't know if Michelle has any she would like to share.
I don't. Even if I do, I don't think I'd like to share that here. But there is an investment account for those that want to study in Canada. There's an investment account you can open as a student. So when you get an offer, you pay your tuition first. Because paying your tuition secures the fact that, you're truly coming to Canada. So you'll be, from the tuition you'll be given a chance. You'll be given like an account number with your commercial bank here in Canada. So you open the account with the rest of the money that you may be needing for your study then in Canada. They'll give you a percentage of the money, and the rest will be shared across the duration of your study. If it's for 1 year, if it's for 2 years. So I think that's a form of investment that will also help secure your visa chances as well. A lot of people use that avenue for those that want to study in Canada, but I wouldn't like to say too much because I don't want it to sound like I'm advertising. But there are a lot of options that when you speak to us at length, we'll get to advise you. But at the end of the day, it's your choice to choose to go that route or not.
And Michelle, just to be clear, Michelle, so these are like only Canadians can do this, or a prospective.
This particular one, yes, that I'm talking about, is just for students who want to study in Canada.
Gotcha. Well, I do know that in the US we have 529s, and I think to get a 529 account, you have to have a social security number. So if your child has a US social security number, you don't want to leave that fallow. You want to try to open, like the advice, open an account in the US and start to save money. They have structures that you can put the money in. It's tax exempt for the child in the child's name. And the good thing is that now they've amended the laws. If the child gets a scholarship and is unable to use the funds in the account, you can transfer to a different child, or you can put in your own retirement account, or you can even talk about it. You can take it away and maybe pay the penalties, but it's money not going to just go to waste. So if your child has a US social security number, make sure that you are investing for that child when they are still babies. Don't wait, like you said, when they get too old, because you are losing that compounding advantage that you would have gotten if you are investing for the child. So make sure you do that as well. So let me just see. So and again, I have pinned a particular tweet from QS that will basically show you just their contact information and all that I raised there in case you want to reach out to them. There's some stuff they've said here I didn't really think about that. I just thought going to school was the name of the school and the financing. I hear access, I hear post-work access, I hear family. I wouldn't have thought about this. Just the way they've explained it, it might be cheaper to go to UAE than going to go to Australia. Might be. So it's not just the costs, it's really about the whole patchwork, the whole framework, 360 view of I'm going to leave my country where I'm quote unquote comfortable to a new place. I've got to be secure before I start looking at other things. So I think that's my key takeaway from this. Michelle, do you have anything you want to add? I want to also bring in Harrison to sort of give us an overview. But Michelle, do you have anything you want to add? I think we might be having issues with having people to speak. We had 2 speakers and they couldn't unmute. Someone sent me a DM. They're not able to add themselves to the space to speak. You can try, and I'll try to unmute you and then see if you can speak. Otherwise, we do have some DMs, which I'll go back and read for both of you to see if you can answer. But Michelle, any other thing you might have missed in our conversation you want to speak about?
Okay, I would just like to add that working with us in QS is really going to make the entire process seamless for you, because that's what we are trained to do. Ensure that we are taking the workload off your neck as a student or as a parent. We have expert skills in the industry. Some of us have been in this industry for about 10 to 15 years and above. And besides the fact that we help with the end-to-end recruitment, QS is a known brand for higher educational activities, international higher educational activities that we do as an organization, and then a streamlined process with the end-to-end recruitment that we do. So I am just putting it out there. I mean, we've tried to advertise other brands. I really want to advertise my brand that working with QS, it's going to give you a seamless journey. It's going to make everything clear for you from scratch up until your child gets to enroll in school, or you as a student get to find a proper destination. And it also helps that we are versatile. We work with different institutions in different countries, different destinations, and everybody is well equipped to give you the proper and clear guidance you need. So whilst we are still on this live session, I think you guys should take the contacts that are being shared to ensure that we give you the seamless services. And I mean, why not? Our services are free, so it's a good thing to work with a reputable organization who will give you top-notch and free services at the same time.
I like that, Michelle. Michelle, you are Regional Director Africa, correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I like we laid all that out for us, advertising QS. Just a question for Michelle. When should I contact you? Is it when I decide? When should I contact? When's the best time? I have a child. Is it when I want to go to school 5 minutes before school, or when do I come? When's the best time to come to you to QS?
Anytime. I would say anytime, because I mean, you want to get to know what to do before you are ready. So contact us as soon as you start thinking about pushing your child out there. Even if the child still has about 2 years or 3 years to go, it's okay to contact us just to know how best to get prepared. So anytime it works for us.
Fantastic. Let me get Pauline. Pauline, hi. Again, what are your closing words? What are the best practices? What have we missed out? Go for it.
Okay, just to reiterate what Michelle has said, our services are free, so you have nothing to lose when you think about it.
I love that. Yeah.
Advice, even if you just want to have an idea, we're more than happy to have a conversation with you. We're open Mondays to Fridays. If you're in Abuja, we have an office in Wuse too. Please feel free to drop in. We also have remote offices if you know people in Ghana, in Kenya, in Lagos. We have a remote team. We're basically close enough to support you. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fantastic. I have 2 questions on DM. If you guys don't mind, I'm just going to run through them. Number one, so I would like to apply. I've got 2 kids. I would like to send them to school in Canada. I think my funding is okay. I would like to talk to you just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Most of the things you are saying, I did not think about it. I just thought of Canada because that's where I can get a visa. Is it too late? He's asking, is it too late? I think he's basically saying he's already keyed in Canada. Can he come to you, and is it something that you can easily change? I think that's where I hear his question coming from.
Again, let's just have the conversation. Reach out to us, yes.
Right,
reach out to us, and so I'll drop a message on WhatsApp as well.
So that's saying reach back to them. Your case might be just reach back to them and then see how they can help you with that. The second one, yes, I'm not a student per se, but I'm interested in becoming a teacher of abroad. I'm not sure if you guys also provide that service. I'm interested in becoming a lecturer. What do you say to that, guys?
So when you say teacher, like, is it like a sports, like teaching English as a foreign language, things like that, or?
I think this person wants to go and become a lecturer in a foreign university.
Or
yeah.
Is it to progress to becoming, because people actually like do PhDs and research programs with the hope of transitioning into academia. So that might be a route. I don't know if you can if there's like a visa thing to just, maybe a work visa to apply as a teacher, but we don't do that. We're mostly study provider.
Okay.
So unless you're looking to unless you do like a research program and then settle into academia, I don't think there's any other, unfortunately.
Like my kids to come back to Nigeria to do university in Nigeria. Is there anything you guys offer in that regard? Do you score Nigerian universities or only foreign universities? This is a reverse one. They want to come back to Nigeria.
Actually, no, I would say that this is our fourth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's an interesting one, right? Do you guys get any
I've never got an inquiry like this.
Like this, yeah.
I wonder what the reason. I actually love to get it.
I've had parents say they want their children to go back to Nigeria to study, and my usual popular advice would be to check out for private universities, especially if you don't want any interruptions in your study, where there would be strikes. But QS doesn't help with that anyway. This is just my own personal opinion I'm giving, and based on some questions I've seen like that in the past where parents are saying, what universities would do to suggest that my kids go to in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I usually look around the private options. I mean, if you're looking for that close-knitted, uninterrupted study time for them, then consider private universities.
Yeah, this person is responding, Salid is responding, saying, I wanted to have the culture of Nigeria. We came to Canada when they were very young. I fear that if they would not have the culture of Nigeria. I wanted to come to Nigeria for the culture. I'm not too interested in the quote-unquote educational outcome, but just the culture.
Okay, I totally get that. It's a welcome idea. I don't want to do that because they're not really coins, but it may reach out to me. I can help. Yeah.
So reach out to her. I mean, they know this better than any of us would. So I would just reach out to them. There's some good questions here for asking. Most of them are asking about funding, and most of them are asking how much will they pay. You heard them say it over and over. It's free. I think they basically go and the key thing is go speak to them and then work with them. But they're basically saying it's a free service. I heard them say more than once. So that people are asking, what is the cost? If I want to go to school, what's the cost? No. Someone is asking, do I pay to them to the university? I don't think so. I don't think you guys receive the funds for. Do you guys receive the funds for the school itself? No.
No, we don't.
They are mostly advisory. So yes, they're not selling the university. It's mostly advisory. And I think I shared the PowerPoint I did share on YouTube. I've done at least 2 or 3 slides from the PowerPoint on Twitter. I will try to put that PowerPoint if possible. But what I just shared, the last tweet I just did, which is going to basically open up, you see lots of all the information, how to reach them, and all that. So just take advantage of that. I think most of the questions are asking about costing, asking about specific universities. Just reach out to them. They might not be able to answer your question because it's very, very specific. For instance, you're asking, I have this course, I didn't complete it, and I want to work. Those questions, just go ahead and ask them. I apologize, we were unable to get folks to speak on the space, but you guys have been here on the space and you have kept so far. Harrison, you want to hop in, Harrison, and sort of give an overview of how the pool can reach you and all?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I think the speakers have spoken very well. Thank you to everybody who has been able to join in. So I have pinned a link, right, that for everybody who wants services, either counseling or you want us to help you apply, or you just have a general question that you want to ask. There's a link in there that you can just click and then fill the form, and then we will be the ones to reach out to you and follow up and see how we can assist you and help you apply to this university that you have in mind or whatever plan you have in mind. Also, another option is for you to just click on the QS Africa account here. Just click on it, send us a DM. Our DM is always open, so you can just send a message and then we'll get to respond to you and we would be able to assist you. So whatever inquiry you have that we've not been able to answer here, or maybe you have further inquiries, just send a DM or just click the link. And we've also got a step further to add Mrs. Peace. Her number is also there on one of the slides that we have. So it's something you see. And then we have the hearing, but able to because the network is I know more. He's not able to come in as well. Another great help can also in touch that you can also get in touch with. So just check the phone numbers there. So there are 3 ways to get in touch with us. The phone numbers are there. Our link is there for you to click, fill the form, and also you can just send it directly to any of us, and we will just get in touch with you easily and swiftly. So instead of stressing Carlo with your DMs, maybe just forward them to me, and then QS Africa here, and then we'll just see how to assist you. Thank you so much, Carlo.
Fantastic. Yeah, so like you've got all their options. I mean, go to them. This is a great service. I mean, if we had this, many of us had this, would have planned better. And you don't forget the whole idea of the space. The title of the space is Education is a Long-Term Asset. So it's an asset you're going to invest in your children or yourself, and they are going to become an asset. When you're educated, your ability to earn more goes up. That is guaranteed. You know, there's a link between education and net worth. So in the end, this is an investment for you, and the guys are basically going to be your financial advisors to hold your hand to navigate this very, very complex process of choosing a school abroad, funding it, and even staying there and getting the best outcome. income. So let's take advantage of that to full benefit of what it entails. QS, I can't think that's enough. Michelle, thank you guys so much for coming here. Pauline, appreciate you guys speaking. You guys should do this more often. You guys are so smooth on this, so you do this more often. I think, and I love what I'm hearing. I didn't know you guys did reach out, but I think it's a fantastic offering you guys have out there. Just telling people about, giving information that is worthwhile. It's just so fantastic. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right, folks, so we're going to just wrap it up for the weekend. Next week, we're going to, of course, go back again, talking about the same issues, the economy, of course, finance, and, of course, investing. Again, everyone is talking about taxes. Remember, taxes is after income. You've got to make that income first before you can worry about tax. And when we bring and guests like this, is the whole idea. It's a 360 view. Look at education not as a cost, but an investment. Anything you put in education, you reap back, and it's forever. No one can take away what you have in between your ears. That's going to be what's going to power you. It's going to be that passive income potential that you have. Even when you retire, you can still do advice because you know stuff. So let's thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys here next week, same time, 7 p.m. West African time, when we have new guests to talk around these issues of money, the economy, and of course finance. Thank you guys, love you, and I'll see you next week. Do have a good one. Bye.